Alright, yeah, so about this channel. First, I want to create videos which give people a more like a holistic data scientific view into biology, or more specifically elements of the body. This is the first thing. The second thing I want to do is create videos which kind of showcase the experiments I'm doing, which have as the ultimate goal creating like mature parts of organs. So this is the what, and then why I'm doing this is like for 4 points. So I think there's like a kind of to some degree a missing data scientific view into tissues. Although to some degree it does exist, I think there should be a lot more. And at least from my experience, when I've been looking up videos trying to find like how specifically tissue is being looks like. For example, the molecules which exist, how they are structured, how, for example, the 3D structure of an organ looks like. There is a concept, but for example, there is no like good concept. For example, you have the like you usually have a 2D representation of liver, but there's no 3D 3D view of it, or like I mean not even like a 3D model which you can kind of just zoom around. And I think this is one part, and the other part is like, for example, in the blood, the components in the plasma, like what are all of the components, which for example would be interesting to see, because then you can kind of see what impacts the development, or like what impacts like growth, which of course all of this exists already. But my point being is that I want to create it in a way that you have that you can actually see all of the molecules, and also know if you want to search for something, where to search it. And this I also want to like provide with the videos. The second point is that I want to kind of like increase the exchange of ideas, and as well as like collaboration, or the people kind of knowing each other. And of course this exists, like there's a strong community for existing like once you have a lab and once you have established, because you will go to like the stem cell society event, which is annually, or the Thermus event. But what like personally I found missing is that if you would just say you want to get started in this field, it's not that easy to reach out to like specific people, like not to reach out, but more specifically like more general, like kind of there's no place where if you just get started and you have a question, you can ask it somewhere. So this is one point. But also the issue is like those events which I mentioned, or those societies, they only have annual events. So I mean, imagine if you want to get started, you might not want to wait 1 year. Also the events are well, for one, expensive, but also there are some oftentimes at very different locations, which is cool, of course, if you want to discover those locations. For example, this year Thermus is in Spain, but the issue is if you don't have that much money, or you just want to kind of get started, then I think it's an unnecessary burden to have those high costs, to kind of just meet people and see where they're currently at, like where the field is also currently at. The third point is kind of personal, is that I kind of want to force myself to some meaningful output, because even if I do research and it doesn't lead to an experiment directly, I found it kind of sad when they just created the like personal output, but it was never like I never posted it. So this is my way of kind of sharing the things which don't lead to some advancement directly, but also I mean I will document the things which lead to direct outcomes. But yeah, so I mean kind of like the things that's kind of additional, the things which I don't have, which don't have like a specific advancement for the like which don't specifically advance the field, that they still have some meaning, or that they don't get lost. And then on the side, which so one last point, the fourth point, which is kind of a meta point, and this is kind of which ties all of this together, is that I want to advance like tissue creation or tissue building. I think with this it will advance this, and this is the, like kind of again the ultimate goal. And yeah, so one, and then the second point, I think, well, let's say the third point is we're going to do what, the why, and now like maybe for the experiments, what I'm doing specifically is I'm focusing on like mature tissue, because I mean this has already like this kind of goes into regenerative medicine, but you have like a lot of potential still to regrow mature tissue, because I mean even a normal injury, it can to some degree all tissue can repair. I'm focusing specifically on the liver, and I will focus on like trying to regrow mature tissue. Yes, and I will get more into this to my first videos. On the side, I just want to mention that like my goal is to like give easy access to information, and also like specific the data type of information, like that you can, if you're interested in like what like specific molecules which exist in, for example, the blood, or how the structure looks like I mentioned earlier, then that you can just like look it up very easily and don't have to kind of go through a lot of papers. or if you do, then that you know which papers you should need to go through. And yeah, that, like also the second point, well, I think I might have mentioned this earlier as well, but instead of categorizing the data, actually like showing the data, or like if you have like based on the categories, you kind of want to dive deeper, and then you can go there. Or if you don't, then, like because it's just too many and it wouldn't make sense to kind of go through them individually, to kind of use the data to predict something, or kind of to have like a representation which is understandable for us humans. Like I mean, for example, dimensionality reduction. This like is similar related to this maybe. And then my last point is like on the side which I'm interested in is like making science cheaper and more accessible. I mean, also I think this is a very personal point because I've struggled with the inaccessibility and also with the price of it. And well, I mean, I'm kind of like crafty a little bit maybe. I think it's very annoying to see like that an organ costs, for example, $140 of a pig, and if you would buy it for like consumption, it's costs like $11. And of course, I mean, there are some arguments to be made on the ethical side, and I do think this is very important. But the point being, there shouldn't be like this, this high difference in price, which I mean, in most of the times, will be carried by the government. And then I mean, I have a lot of side interests. I don't think I will post those on the main channel. I might post them on like some side channel because I don't think they will be very unrelated, because it's just like, for example, like what we can do as like what we're able to do understand as humans, what we cannot understand. It's in a very abstract way, or like I mean also in some way in a practical way, because like what, for example, earlier what I mentioned is like you cannot understand like if there's like thousands of data points. I mean, for example, you cannot learn. It wouldn't make sense to learn 80,000 genes like to memorize them. Well, maybe it would be, but like there's like some point at which humans are not able to do those things, and then we kind of need to use tools to make it able, like to bring it to some dimension which we can actually understand. Also, like generally, so this is like one topic, and then many topics like this. For example, how to make decisions, like kind of now with the like all of the LLMs, like how to do parallel work, or like if this even makes sense, and yeah, also like how to do good work, and those stuff like this is what I'm interested in as well. But I'm very likely to just post those on a side channel. I just wanted to mention it. So yeah, lastly, what I want to mention is my schedule. And on Monday, I will post updates on like on ex vivo experiments which I'm making, kind of, and the research and project realization. So kind of, well, for one, the update of what I have been doing. For starters, it will just mainly be kind of how I'm planning it, and also what I've been learning about it while I go along the way. And about it. And so, I mean, more specifically, the ex vivo experiment, it consists of how you can like perfuse a liver ex vivo and keep it alive. And like also, I mean, this can there are several aspects, and all of those aspects which might be interesting, I will present. And then on Tuesday, I will focus on in vivo experiment, and I might kill this experiment, but I will, first I will give you an overview, and then also go more into details of like what could be done, and eventually I might give you an update then, like how it progresses. So on Tuesday then I will publish a video which will be kind of doing very similar to the first experiment, an in vivo experiment where I will try to grow the liver. It will probably be heterotopically as sort of like a helper function when you're diseased, but also for the purpose to kind of grow it to eventually replace the old liver. So this idea exists. It came from the idea that it will be much easier to like do it in vivo than ex vivo. Since this might not be the case, I might kind of put this project on ice for now. But I will definitely like at least make 1 or 2 videos kind of summarizing summarizing the idea and like kind of what I did on that, and and then it depends on how it will continue. And then on Wednesday I will publish something on machine learning and single cell like a prediction for single cell RNA sequencing data. I mean, you can make many predictions on this. I will start by like making a kind of deconvoluting bulk sequencing to single cell sequencing. So I mean, I do this because I think like this kind of goes into the direction of like making science cheaper, because I think in many experiments you don't actually need bulk sequencing. You can just use single cell. You don't need single cell sequencing, which is much more expensive than bulk sequencing. But you need to have like some deconvolution, like kind of separating this like by cell types and kind of seeing the proportions. So I'm seeing and trying whether like you can make a very good prediction on this. So this will be one part. I might use like a lot of different data modalities or different predictions on those modalities, depending on what I find will be the most relevant like prediction types, which will advance tissue building. This might also like turn into some way of just like kind of I don't know, benchmarking data, like how to make a good benchmark for different data modalities. I have to see how I will like in which direction this will go. But for the first, I think like month roughly, we'll definitely focus on the bulk single cell RNA sequencing data, kind of not necessarily conversion, but like the deconvolution. And as the last point, I will focus on the the data-driven biology series, which will like have many videos like on kind of the topics I mentioned earlier, like for example, kind of analyzing blood in like a much more structured way. And like kind of seeing all of the contents that are within, and also then kind of providing or like showing how to use the databases to kind of if you're interested in this yourself, or like making like using the data, how to use it. So yeah, this will be about that. And yeah, so this will be my Monday through Thursday, and I will repeat this, like I do this every week. If anything changes, I will probably also post another video on this. So this is kind of roughly it with the video. What I do want to mention is that I've created like a Discord, which I'm happy if you want to join it, where you can like, if you're interested, like want to get started, or maybe I have already started in the topic and kind of just want to connect with other people and like kind of think in a very, well, it depends, like just if you're interested in like talking about like how to build tissue in the most efficient way, or like what you're doing, yeah, you can join this Discord. And yeah, this should be it for the video. I hope this gives you like a relatively good insight. In the description there will also be like a little bit of the summary of what I've talked about, and yeah, happy that you discovered this channel, and see you on my other videos. Bye bye.